All right, guys. So today, what I'm going to show you is how to do edits and revisions on your completed paper. So you should only do this when you have your completed paper done. You have an intro paragraph, body paragraph one, body paragraph two, body paragraph three, closing, and then you also need to have all your works cited entries back on here. So if you don't have all of those things, go ahead and pause and go get that together and then come back to the video and have that pulled up. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to use this checklist that I have over here in the orange, and we are going to go through step by step. It's really important that you follow this step by step because that's going to ensure that you've done everything that you need to do. So the first thing we're going to do is work through some of this MLA format stuff. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to highlight everything on the entire page all the way down through my works cited. Okay, so everything that's on my document should be highlighted at this point. Okay, after everything is highlighted, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to make sure that this is normal text, that this is Times New Roman, that the font size is 12. I'm going to go over to the highlighting tool, which looks like this, and I'm going to make sure that everything is none. Sometimes when we cut and paste information, we end up with a highlight on there. And I'm also this isn't on there, but I'm going to make sure my text color is black on here. Sometimes we pull over gray or another color. Okay, so that's the first thing that we need to do. While everything, I'm going to go put an X here so I know what we've done and what we haven't done. Okay, so while everything's still all highlighted over here, we're going to go and we're going to do our spacing. So remember, anytime your buttons that I'm using aren't showing up here, they might be under this tab, so something might be under there. But what we're looking for right now is the spacing. And we're going to do some things in here that seem crazy, but I promise you that it matters. So we're going to click in here for the first time and we're going to click on double. MLA format is always double spaced. Okay. Then we're going to go click back in there again. And I'm going to pay attention to this add and this add. So the first one, we're going to go in and we're going to click on the top add. We're going to go back into spacing again. Now that top add is changed to remove. We're going to go click on the bottom add. We're going to go back in again and we're going to click on the top remove and we're going to go back in one more time and we're going to click on the bottom removed. So that's going to get our formatting and spacing how we need it to be for MLA format. Okay. While you can click out of the highlighting for everything, we want to make sure that there aren't extra spaces anywhere now. So we're going to scroll down through here just to make sure. So we should have our heading information, which we're going to go fix here in a second. The very next line down should be your title. The very next line down should be the start of your first paragraph, and that should be indented. So if you don't have your indents, add those right now. Second paragraph, indented. Third paragraph, indented, no extra spaces in here. Fourth paragraph, indented. Fifth paragraph, indented. And there aren't extra spaces between. It's just the very next line. And then our works cited should start on its own page. And works cited should be at the top. We'll talk about that again when we get down here. And we'll work on our spacing separately on our works cited page in just a minute. Okay, so let's go back up to the top. So we have our spacing now. The next thing we're going to check is our margin size. So you're going to go to File, Page Setup, and you're just going to check and make sure that all your margins, top, bottom, left, right, are all at 1 and that you're on portrait, of course. And you're going to click OK there. Okay. Next thing then is your heading information, and this should not be in a header. It should start on the very first line of your paper. So you shouldn't be able to click and get anywhere up here. It should just be right there. So you should have your first and last name, Mrs. Pitzer, English 12, and then we're going to make sure we have our date in MLA format, and we're going to put the date that this is due, which is 01 space November space 2022. Oops, 2022. So this is MLA format for dates, and we always want to make sure that we're using that. Okay, so the next thing is page numbers. So depending on where you type this, you might already have a page number up here in your header. If you don't have any page numbers up here, then follow along with me for a second. If you have a page number, you don't need to do this part. So we're going to go Insert, and we're going to go down to where it says page numbers, and we are going to click right here on page numbers, that very first one. Okay, so now people who already had page numbers in, you should be able to go up and like double click into here. And what we all need to do is before our page number, we need to type our last name and a space. And that's how we do page numbers in MLA format. So if we scroll down now, click out of there. Oh, look, it didn't make it in Times New Roman. We need to make it Times New Roman. So go highlight it and do Times New Roman, and it will take it and change that in all of them. Okay, so now we're Times New Roman. We're not 12 point though, are we? 12 point font. Okay, and now when we scroll down, it's 12 Times New Roman, 12 point font. Good. So now we're done with our page number format. Next thing we want to do is make sure that we have a good title on here. Career Research Unit, that's kind of a meh title. This one is about firefighting. So I'm going to do firefighting. Okay. That's what I'm going to call this paper. Make sure that all your important words are capitalized, no bold, no extra spaces, no quotation marks, just that. And I'm going to give that an X. All right, we did our indents when we went down through. I guess I put that in the wrong order, but all of our paragraphs are indented. So now we're going to scroll on down and get to our works cited page. All right, so what a works cited entry should look like is it should be, well, let's start with color coding. Okay, so the first thing we have to determine is if our sources were used in this, in the paper. So what I want you to do is I want you to go back up into the text of your paper, and I want you to find the first source that you use. It's probably going to be in your first body paragraph unless you used it as a hook. So the first one that I use is the Occupational Firefighters Occupational Outlook Handbook. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and I am going to say, okay, Firefighter Occupational Outlook Handbook. So I use that one. I'm going to give that one a light highlight of a color. Okay, so I'm going to do blue on that. That tells me that I used it in here. Actually, I'm going to do gray. That's a little too much. Okay, oops. Okay, so now I've used that one. Then I'm going to go back up, and it looks like in this paragraph I use Auerbach. My next one is Auerbach. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to highlight Auerbach. Okay, so now I have Auerbach and the Occupational Handbook. I'm in my second body paragraph. I'm going to go back up and look. Firefighter Occupational Handbook, Adult Education. So I need to go get Adult Education. Okay, which is this one right here. So I am going to do that. And then I'm going to go back up. I did adult education. All right, this body paragraph, let's see. I have Firefighter Occupational Handbook. I have Columbus Firefighter. That's a new one. And it looks like I have that twice, and that's my last ones. So Columbus firefighter I have. Okay. So it looks like I did not use Sinelbach. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that one off of here. I'm going to delete that out since I did not use that in my paper. Okay. So now here I am. I have mine sort of highlighted. I know that I've used all 4 of these, and now I need to get them in alphabetical order. So I am going to look at the first word. So I have Auerbach, I have firefighters, I have Columbus, and I have adult. So the adult education one is going to need to be moved first. So I'm going to go copy that, Control X, maybe. Control X. Why is that my, oh, I unhighlighted it. That would be why. Control X, and I'm going to take that up here and I'm going to put it at the top. And then I have Auerbach next. The next one should be Columbus. And I'm going to put it right below this other one because we want them to be right back to back. And then firefighters is going to be last. Okay. So notice I don't have any extra spaces in between them, but our formatting is not all the way correct. So the next thing I need to do is I'm going to highlight this, and I am going to go into format. I'm going to go into align and indent. I'm going to go into indentation options. I'm going to keep those how they are, but I'm going to go to special indent and click hanging. And if I have to change this, I'm just going to keep this at 0. And then apply. And now I should have hanging indents for all of my sources, and they should be nice and neat like that. Okay, so now we're finished here. The rest of the things on here, you are going to kind of walk yourself through and do. You're going to want to use spell checker Grammarly. So you can do, if you have Grammarly, you'll have that pop up down here in the corner. You might also have it under your extensions or add-ons. Or you can do tools and spelling and grammar and run through the spelling and grammar check. You want to double check for red and blue squiggly lines throughout, which I don't have. You're going to want to proofread for capitals, and you want to pay close attention to your works cited entries as you are moving through there too. Remember that if your works cited are titles, you should have quotation marks inside the parentheses of the title. The last names, you'll just have the last name. And remember that your end punctuation for the sentence goes out here at the very end. So keep that in mind. And then you'll want to proofread and edit for capitalization, punctuation, all of that stuff. We're going to pretend like I took the time to do that. Revisions, some strategies that will help you is reading your paper aloud for clarity and added punctuation. And then you want to make sure that each sentence gives a complete thought and makes sense all by itself. And the last thing is editing out all forms of you. So I'm going to show you a strategy you can use to check this. And that is edit, find and replace. And we're going to, I don't know why that's in there, but oh, I see, because I have it highlighted. Let me click out of here for a second. We're going to do YOU, and that will take us to them. And then if you have U's in here, you just go click on the next and it will take you to it, and you can take those out. Remember, the only U's you're allowed to have are if they're inside a direct quote. Okay. So then the last thing that you need to do is pull back up this Canvas assignment. So I'm going to go grab that and bring it to show you. Just one second. Okay, so we have Canvas up. We're going to go to our classroom and we're on the Friday assignment. So you're going to click in there, and there's going to be more details in here when you guys are going to be in here, but you're going to load that doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. So from your Friday assignment, sorry about the glitch there. I had messed things up. Okay, so from your Friday assignment, you're in here. You're going to go into load the hybrid Friday assignment. I'm going to try this from student view and see if it works. Reset student view, leave student view. It's not going to let me do that. But let's say that you go in here, and what you should be able to do from in here is add an assignment. And if this isn't working right, then we'll work on that together. But you're going to come and add this version in here. And then what we'll be able to do is see the plagiarism check. And then I will conference with you and we will fix that. So work through all the steps, get that done. Sorry for the long video, but it's going to be helpful and make your paper much better. I will talk to you in a conference.